Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. Stephen Michael James, the host
We're rolling
on a mess.
very carefully past the mic, as they say, the Beastie Boys. We check. We record.
Oh, do you got headphones?
No,
Do I need
I'm going to take these off. I just
Okay.
I just
Oh,
put
you
them
wanted.
on
Oh, gotcha.
to make sure that we have audio. So
Everything sounded good.
it's good. It's good.
Okay, cool.
So here we are, Casey.
Yeah,
Casey
hi.
Judson.
Hi,
Walking around, people. He is here.
Yet I'm sitting down right now.
Yes. Well, we're sit-down comedians.
Oh no, I can still stand.
Yeah.
Just.
Who's your favorite sit-down comedian? Mine is Nate Jackson.
Oh yeah. He's a sit-down comedian.
Big J. Okerson, second best.
I like the ones that don't have any choice but to sit down.
Ryan Padilla.
Yeah, Ryan Padilla.
Shout out to you, buddy.
Yeah. Shout out Ryan Padilla. I told Ryan Padilla, I said, I told him that, I told him that I was in a wheelchair for like 2.5 months recently.
Uh-huh.
So that's a long time to be in a wheelchair. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like a long enough time to tell that you don't really like it at all.
Uh-huh.
Like you hate it. Hate it.
Yeah.
But I told him that I saw a guy running towards me, like running. You know, Ryan Padilla's fast.
Oh, yeah.
Like
He's
on the wheelchair.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw a
Absolutely.
fast guy and he looked like Ryan Padilla. And in my head I went, "Oh shit, you're fucking cured." And I told him that like as a joke. And then I don't know if that's mean or not.
Yeah,
But it's funny because I really thought it was him. And then I was sad. I was like, "Oh shit, it's not him. He's still in the thing." Yeah,
Wheelchair jokes are, they're tricky.
very
They're
tricky. Yeah. Yeah.
I could just say that from personal experience. But,
Oh, yeah?
You
Yeah.
you did some shows with Ryan,
Mhm.
right? It's Okay, You Can Laugh. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was that like? How'd that whole thing come about?
Oh, I got that from. It was I think Rob Conroy recommended me.
Rob Conroy.
Yeah.
We know him.
And they said I'm I don't really look disabled,
Yeah.
but they were like, the previous show he put me on, he was like, well, it's a show for recovering drug addicts, and I don't really do drugs. And then I was like, oh, it's because I'm just funny. They put me in the show.
Uh-huh.
And I go, no, it's because I look like a drug addict.
Hey. I think that there were some people on that show that weren't exactly recovering or in recovery at the time, but
Oh, okay, yeah, you're
Yeah.
probably right. Yeah.
but
Yeah,
hey,
the
man,
disabled show was awesome. It was Rob as host.
that was
and,
at
the Central Saloon.
Central Saloon, Pioneer Square.
Were you there that
Seattle.
night?
I was not.
Oh.
I was
Were you-
not. But I saw photos. It looked like that place was packed out.
Yeah, it was packed.
And I have been there. I did a show with Rob and PJ there, and looked like a really nice spot. And so,
Oh, okay, cool. With Wes Brenner and all that?
no,
Is that-
he
oh.
wasn't there. It was Jesse was there, and Jordan, who hosts the mic here, he was also part of the show.
Oh, cool.
Not a big turnout, but we had some people. It was fun, and you know how it is, man.
Yeah.
So, I don't know a lot about you. I know, I've heard that you used to drink a lot of Jai Thai. Is that true?
Oh, wow.
What's the story about this?
It's kind of hard to
the-
say you're not an alcoholic with a big glass of whiskey.
Yeah,
I really don't drink that much,
Yeah.
actually.
we're just here for.
I
looking
did
for
have
sponsorship.
I was when I started comedy, and I had a friend who's at least famous in the local scene. Will Dirks was a good friend of mine, and he quit comedy. But
Uh-huh.
Will was a known really bad alcoholic, and me and him were
Buddies?
friends,
Yeah.
So we'd be sitting, and we'd both have drinks. So,
Mhm.
and I go, but I wasn't nearly as bad an alcoholic as.
So
I'm doing this wrong. I shouldn't be ratting out people like that.
whatever.
right?
This is. We're just having two buddies having a
Yeah.
conversation, just making sure that my microphone has not stopped working.
Oh.
It sounds like it is. Check. Yes. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. We sound great. Go ahead. Say something.
Hello.
It's just for whatever reason, because we were talking about how this thing is this old piece of crap that I need to replace.
Oh, did I break your mixer?
No, it has this
Oh.
weird function on it. So this is one of the not early, but kind of second or third generation digital
Okay, yeah.
recorders.
Yeah.
don't want to get too deep into the nerdy details, but analog was just machinery. It was stuff that would always work.
Yes.
And then as time went on, analog items like musical instruments and parts of cars, TVs, they became more and more dependent on circuit boards, and they call that digital technology. And digital was to emulate a lot of what analog could do. So digital, when it first came out, especially in music equipment, was really shitty sounding. Like, it just didn't sound good. It was just
everybody preferred old analog stuff. Yes.
And same thing with the recording stuff. And this is, it's not a bad thing, but it has this really bad thing that happens with it that just, if you peak the volume, and what that means is if you put too much noise into the channel that the microphone is into, what normally happens is it will distort. If you scream into a microphone, it sounds evil sounding.
Yes.
Or you would get what's called clipping, where you would scream and then it would cut out for a second or two. What this does is if you peak the levels too much, then it will just not work. It will just stop the channel. And you got to turn the whole thing off and turn it back on. So
that's interesting.
I have to very carefully set these microphones and make sure nobody screams or drops the mic.
The
episode I had with Jason.
I'm not a big screamer into the mic.
No, you're not.
But I might. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see, huh? We might be doing some John Banning impressions tonight.
He's a wild man.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think I can do it.
When did you meet? Okay, let's hold on. Let's go back here. So you started comedy pretty later in life, kind of like me.
Yeah. Pretty late.
Were you? You grew up here? You from this area?
I grew up in Vancouver, Canada. Was born there.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved around a lot and stuff like that.
And why were you moving around? Was it your parents, like they had different jobs, or?
My parents split up, and I had a crazy mama. She always wanted to move.
Yeah.
She always wanted to. She's like an artist, wanted to try new things. So we were just moving a lot.
Your mom was an artist, so your parents kind of split up. Did you have siblings?
No, I don't have any brothers and sisters.
Oh, man.
My dad still lives in Canada.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now they're both real old now, so.
I got a kid. She's an only child.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And one of my best friends is an only child. The guy who used to play drums in my band. I always wonder what it's like. How did you feel about your childhood? Because on one hand, when you are an only child, you kind of can get almost what you want. You don't have to argue. You don't have to share. You get to bring your friends along on trips and that kind of stuff. But on the other hand,
in theory,
it seems like a lonely existence because you don't have a sibling that's there with you all the time. You don't have other people your age.
Yeah.
Robin Williams.
It's funny if you're like, I never really thought about it till now, and now I feel very sad. No, I'm just kidding. I think about it.
Robin Williams was an only child.
Oh, is that right?
I'm just wondering,
Wow.
do you think, what was your childhood like growing up?
Wow.
Canada, moving around. It doesn't sound like it was extremely stable, but I also think
not stable, but that's overrated.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like a combination of good and bad. So like you'll be like, I wish I would have grown up in one spot and had lifelong friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I always had like new friends but then we'd leave and I wouldn't be the friendship's over. Yeah. I remember this moment was funny. Yeah. I was in California, living in California.
What part of California?
I lived in Adelanto. It's in the desert, high desert, out in the desert.
Okay.
So like by Victorville, Barstow, that area out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a friend, a black dude. Not that it matters that he's black, but he was black.
Hey, we have black friends on this podcast.
Yeah. I don't like to brag, but anyway, his name was CJ, and I remember
CJ.
He's we were on the same baseball team.
Yeah.
So we both were wearing our baseball uniforms, and my mom had decided we were going to leave my stepdad the next morning. Yeah. And so I went, hey, I'm leaving next morning. We're moving to Washington State. I'll never see you again. Like my best friend. He was like, all right, well, see you later. Like when you're young,
how old were you?
No one gets like, I was like 14 or 13.
Okay.
Yeah, but I remember thinking, no, well, we're just not sentimental like that. But I was kind of like, damn, you're never going to see your friends, So,
as sad as that sounds, and I don't want to tell my life story either, but both of us, we come from, our childhood was basically before the internet.
How old are you?
I'm 39.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I had a little bit of it when I was in high school.
Oh, I'm even older than you are.
Yeah.
If you can believe that.
Whoa. Well, geez, if Jason McBride was here, though, man, this would be like an AARP meeting.
Oh,
Jeez.
yeah. Well, he's old beyond his years.
He's also yeah.
You know what I mean? No, I don't. He's awesome. Jason's an amazing guy. You know,
so
cool
coming
guy.
to Washington, what was the young adult Casey like? What were you doing? Did you have any direction that you were going in at that time? Were you an artist? Like your mom?
When I was a teenager, you mean?
Kind of teenager, getting into like 18, 19, 20, first getting out as an adult.
Oh, yeah. I was really into rap music,
Yeah?
I was kind of
holding a little bit closer.
It's kind of a...
You said rap music.
Yeah,
hip-hop,
a little bit like a
early 90s.
A little bit like a hoodlum, really.
So
but
are
without,
we talking about like with the West Coast or East Coast, or was it main kind of?
I kind of like Tribe Called Quest, East Coast stuff.
So yeah, more.
I like East Coast music.
More cerebral.
Kind of yes,
lyrical.
Yes, but now I like everything. I
Yeah.
like gangster music. I like, you know what I mean. I like all kinds of different hip hop.
Yeah.
But back then, I think I mostly liked.
And right now, like when do you listen to music in your life?
The car?
Now? In the car.
Yeah, a lot in the
and
car.
So on the
Or
way
at home. I
so-
got a speaker that we used to use for shows.
Yeah.
And it also doubles as a Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll listen to podcasts on it, and I'll put on music from my phone.
You listen to
It's
a
amazing.
podcast on a speaker.
Yeah.
Wow,
sometimes,
interesting. Yeah, I'm mostly on my headphones or in the car, but.
Okay.
So when you're driving over here, what are you putting on? What are you listening to? What's the playlist like?
I'm listening to, honestly, unfortunately, I would say almost shamedly, a lot of political things now.
Oh, okay. Like
So I'm just sorry,
podcasts and news.
Yeah, I'm into
Okay.
it. I'm kind of into it.
Well, I am too a little bit.
Yeah.
I've the last few elections. I don't know what it is. I've never been a sports guy.
Oh, really?
As a kid, I played sports. I mean, I feel like. Did you play sports too?
Yeah, I played
I
sports.
feel like every guy from a certain generation just had to play sports. It just wasn't even a choice. You were doing baseball, basketball, football. And then once the 90s came along, they were like, all right, you don't have to do sports. You can go home.
Well, you kind of plateau.
Yeah.
You either move on to the next level.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I was like, I'm going to be a Major League Baseball player. Like when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, and then I was a good player, and then I was not good enough to be a, professional player. So.
Man, I wanted to play hockey because I loved that movie, The Mighty Ducks.
Oh yeah, all right.
Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
Good, fine Disney film. Shout out.
Shout
Actually,
out to Emilio Estevez.
The
You can keep you can't keep a Sheen down. Do you ever hear that
No.
Patrice O'Neill line? He's like, you can't keep a Sheen down, but you can keep an Estevez down. He does everything right.
Yeah. Jeez, man. It's so crazy how those... Yeah. So if people don't know this is a little history lesson. I have some younger listeners out there. We're talking about actors. Charlie Sheen, you guys remember him?
Oh, yeah, you got to explain that.
2.5 Men, manly men.
Yeah, winning.
Yes. He, Tiger's Blood.
Yeah.
Adonis DNA.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, you got it better than I do.
Dude, I was obsessed with Charlie Sheen in 2010, 2011.
Yeah, go check out, to people, to you guys, just anytime, check out, especially if you like comedy, check out the roast of Charlie Sheen.
Oh, yeah, that was a
it's
pretty
a classic.
good one. Yeah. I don't even remember all the jokes on it, but I know
I remember some of them.
there was 3 or 4 roasts that always had Anthony Jeselnik.
Sure,
always
yeah,
had,
that one did.
Whitney Cummings.
Yeah, that one did.
And
that one had Patrice O'Neill, who's a great
yeah.
great comic, and he was right near the end. He died young
Yeah.
of diabetes, unfortunately.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I hear Patrice's name spoken so much in when I listen to podcasts. The guys that I like, I like obviously Joe Rogan, Shane Gillis, Hinchcliffe.
Oh yeah, have you?
I really like.
Have you heard that Donald Trump's on Joe Rogan tomorrow?
Oh, dude.
Can you believe that?
That is.
That shit is epic.
know-
that shit is epic.
This is.
I'm sorry.
This is not a political podcast, but
Oh, no problem.
but let's talk about.
oh, sure.
Let's just get into some stuff, man. Because
Oh, okay. No problem.
you send me a lot of things online.
Yeah?
I feel like, first of all, I don't like labels, okay? I think this whole liberal, conservative, libertarian, Green Party, I think it's all BS. I think everybody is everything, just depending on where the graph is and where they stand on certain things. Like for me,
Sure.
like,
We're all just trying to sort it out.
yeah. I mean,
Really,
like,
I'm serious.
yeah.
That's the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Well, it's like,
I didn't
Yeah,
call
there's
anybody a
the-
libtard, did I?
no.
Yeah.
No.
I've
But-
tried to never use that.
Like for me, there are definitely communities out there that have been, outcasts in society that, deserve some help. But at the same time, I also believe in the death penalty. I think fucking kill people. I mean, there's too many people in this
Oh.
world. Like,
Oh, man.
you
Oh,
know,
man.
like,
You
let's bring
extremist.
like,
Just kidding.
like how much money we waste on people sitting in death row when it's painfully obvious that they've committed murder, but yet we have these lawyers picking apart.
No pun
evidence and
intended.
stuff like
Painfully
that.
obvious.
Yeah.
The
I think child molesters. Let's just get them out of here, man. Like, why? They're not. Does anybody want? Okay, my wife watches 90 Day Fiance, and there's these people that are getting out of prison that are having the hardest time finding jobs. How many people want to hire a registered sex offender? Probably none.
they're probably not.
think they're
I will
just-
say they're probably not going. I really need a registered sex offender to make my business go.
Yeah.
I'm specifically picking them.
Yeah.
They probably get picked last. I don't know.
You know who's probably going to be a registered sex offender? Diddy.
Oh,
P.
Diddy!
Diddy. That boy is in trouble.
I thought you were gonna say Rick, like a comic that we know or something.
Yeah. No.
He has a future. I think he's gonna molest children. I'm pretty sure.
Who? Wait, who are we talking about?
I don't know. I wanted to pick someone randomly, but
Oh. I thought you said Wick.
oh
said
yeah,
who?
Rick.
Oh,
I
Rick.
was trying to do a name that
Rick. I think you
doesn't
said Wick. I
exist.
was like John Wick, Keanu Reeves.
so
No.
I don't go like Andy Harder.
Oh.
Definitely a child. No, he's a really nice guy. He would.
Well, Scott Coburn had a great
Coburn.
Scotty had a good joke about Andy at the roast here, and he said, Andy looks like he watches Little League games from his car. Great,
What I like
great
it-
joke, Scott.
What I like is that at the 907 a while back, they would say the host would say Andy Harder or Casey Judson, whichever you prefer. Like that we look the same.
No, I don't.
And
no.
Also, being told we look like each other is a very big disappointment for both of us. We're like, that's what I look like.
no.
I'm just kidding. Andy's actually.
I did a joke that I said he looked like Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars.
Oh, okay.
Except his voice is like this.
Oh yeah, he's got this. He's got his own.
This drunk like I'm rent.
Oh, yeah.
Live in rent. And,
He's
I
a
don't
huge
know.
Stanhope fan, so I see the Stanhope in the voice.
He's a nice dude. Like
Yeah.
he puts on this
Great
persona,
guy.
but he's a nice guy.
Oh, very nice. Very nice guy.
Yeah, dude. So, what were you doing up until wanting to do comedy? And then we'll talk about like why you wanted to do it. But what was, from your whole teenage years up until what? I'm guessing your 40s when you started.
Yeah.
What was were you married or anything like that?
I never.
Drugs.
Yeah, I did
Job,
drugs.
like,
I had lots of jobs.
Lots of different
Kind of
jobs.
mayhem.
Yeah.
No organization. No.
Were you going to
No.
concerts?
Oh sure, yeah.
Who were you seeing during this time? No, during the time before comedy, who'd you go see live? I'm guessing all in Seattle.
I saw Miles Davis live.
Really?
Can you believe that?
Miles Davis. Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Where
Miles
did you see
Davis.
him?
At the Paramount.
Wow. When?
Yeah, with an all-star band.
kids.
Like he literally played music and it took them an hour or more to come out.
Wow.
So they had this band, and it was like the best.
Kids, Miles Davis is a famous jazz musician.
Yeah.
Look
So what
him
I
up,
did is
Wikipedia.
I kind of wanted to be someone who liked Miles Davis because I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So I just really tried to get into it, you know, and
Yeah.
I didn't quite always get it, but I did like it. You know, he's a really cool
Yeah.
guy, interesting guy.
Jazz is it's such a broad genre of music. You know, I feel like musicians, you know, anybody who plays drums, guitar, bass, piano, they seem to have an appreciation for all different genres, you know, regardless. Even like
Sure.
hip-hop and
Oh yeah.
things that are like electronic, you know, things that don't necessarily come from traditional instruments. Jazz is one of those things. It's like...
I think
I
he did an
appreciate-
album. Miles did an album that has like one of the first ones to have jazz and like
electric
hip hop
guitar-
beats
yeah,
in
oh,
it
yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
was a pioneer. But,
Yeah.
I really like
I'm not an expert on him or anything. but-
John Coltrane. You know,
Sure.
listen
Oh
to
yeah,
Coltrane.
yeah, yes.
And the
I have.
reason I got into him was because I was into the Doors. You know, I
Okay.
really love like, you know, Break On Through, all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
and
yeah.
Reading the Ray Manzarek, the keyboardist, you
Oh,
know,
sure,
from,
yeah.
from the band, he had a book, and I read his story, and a lot of those songs, I guess, were derived from kind of like Coltrane stuff. And so I went back and listened to that.
Oh,
and it's
interesting.
like- and it's just really cool. It's like when you listen to it, it's not like the kind of music you put on like, hey man, let's rock out to some Coltrane, but
Oh,
you
sure,
put it
no.
on a
Yeah.
rainy Seattle night.
Oh, yeah,
You feel like
yeah.
you're in a 1940s detective movie, you know. It's and it's just
Right.
nice. It's just nice. It almost makes you feel like you're in a different time period, you know, listening to that. And especially because of the recordings back then, like you can hear the crackling of the record, and you can hear a lot of the fuzz of the tape, the hiss of the tape.
All right.
That was something that we hated in our band growing up. We hated like that hiss, and then when digital came out, we were like, oh, this is great. But now I love listening to old recordings of stuff, you know,
Right.
blues stuff, 60s rock
I've been
and
listening to
roll.
Rolling Stones.
Really?
a lot,
Yeah, I was going to mention them,
and
actually.
because it's just such fucking righteous blues, you know, like modern blues. You know, it's modern
Yeah.
blues, but with traditional. Like, and I think of them as they were like the coolest thing in the town. You know what I mean? They were
Yeah.
the coolest thing going, like stylistically. You know, they were style. They had style.
Yeah.
Everybody liked their style. You know, even
Well,
nowadays.
yeah.
You know,
I didn't get it when I was younger, but man, they
I saw
The-
Keith Richards. He went to do an interview with Mark Maron on his
Uh-huh.
podcast.
oh yeah, yeah.
And they met in a library near where Keith Richards lives, because he's not going all the
Yeah.
way to Mark. Anyway, so Mark Maron meets him, and they go in this little back room.
Yeah.
And Keith Richards lights up a cigarette, and Mark Maron goes, "Oh, you can't smoke in a library." And then no one's
like,
gonna
"I can do
tell.
whatever I-"
No one's
Yeah.
gonna tell
Yeah,
Keith Richards
yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
they can't say it.
Yeah, yeah.
They can't even say, "Excuse me, would you?" No, they're not gonna say that. He's an exception. He can smoke. It's
I
funny.
gotta tell you, man, the thing that I feel very sad about though is all this great history that you and I grew up with. I feel like is going away because the world used to be so slow. The way news traveled was slow. It was so like music, you know, music for the last, I would say, prior to the last 30 years. It was very hard to get into. It was very expensive to get the instruments. And that's why there were so many artists that were able to develop, because
Oh, sure.
there weren't a lot of
Oh.
artists. There weren't nearly as many artists out there as there is now. And so if an album didn't do so well, they would say, all right, well, you know, keep touring, and then we'll see what the next one does. And then that's how we were able to get all this good music. I mean, there's
Oh,
some people
right.
that hate the Beatles. I'm not going to get into the Beatles, but the Rolling Stones, I mean, they started out as this British blues. You know, they're inspired by black
Yeah.
American blues, and then they were influenced by the psychedelic, the folk scene, and then they just became what the Rolling Stones are. And like,
Yeah.
as a guitar player, I mean, even the way Keith Richards tunes his guitar is so not traditional compared to like 90% of the stuff you learn And yeah, man, like that.
Oh,
that
you're
stuff,
you're a guitar player?
yeah, I mean,
Oh, cool.
I haven't played for a while.
Yeah,
but
you're a lot cooler guy than I am.
I don't know.
As far as that
did you ever
goes.
try playing? Did you ever pick it up?
My uncle was really good at guitar, and he died right as he was starting to teach me. And I couldn't. There's no reason why I shouldn't have kept going with it, but I just.
Was he in a
I had a
band
hard
or-
learning curve with guitar,
Yeah.
but he was going to be able to teach me, But he passed away. He was a drug guy.
Really?
Yeah, but he was a really good guitar player.
So comedy, right?
Yeah, comedy.
What happened, and what was the thing that was like, I think I'd really like to try getting up there and just telling some jokes. What was there? Something specific that happened, or was it something that you wanted to do for a long time?
Well, I always really loved the greats in comedy, so I always watched the great guys.
So Carlin,
Yeah, Carlin, Bill Hicks.
Richard Pryor.
And so
you liked Bill Hicks
yeah,
way
Bill
before
Hicks.
he was trendy.
No, I mean he was very popular for a while.
Yeah.
Like I saw him after a boxing match on HBO. He had a special, so he was a big deal to have a special on HBO right after like a heavyweight title fight. So seemed like he was a pretty big star,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I liked Richard Pryor. Yeah, Richard Pryor a little bit when I was really young is when he was really popular. So
Oh, dude, I have I have a record.
yeah.
So
Oh, you got a Richard Pryor record?
no.
Oh.
Okay. Here's the story. I have a crate or a old ice chest that used to belong to my grandpa or my mom, and there's a bunch of records in there. And back in the day, people used to steal records. And how they would do it is they would just take the record and leave the sleeve.
Oh, of course,
So
yeah.
I don't have the record, but I have the sleeve for Richard Pryor's album. That N-word's crazy.
Oh, okay. I was just going to ask you, is it that one?
That's that one.
Doesn't it have super, or is that super N-word? There's super. That's
No,
another album.
no. It's that
Oh.
N-word is crazy.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
it's the word, man. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yes.
I want to, I don't want, I mean, I want to give it to somebody who's really going to appreciate it.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
comedy fans out there, if you
Oh.
want a Richard Pryor record sleeve,
I mean, I
the
would think it
N-word,
was cool. I would love
feel-
to. I would love to have it myself personally, but also I don't have a record player.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's not-
there's no record.
Yeah, it's just the sleeve. It's just a display.
It's a great collector's
Yeah,
item, though.
It's just a display, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I-
a piece of history.
I think there's also the Steve Martin record with the arrow through the head on the album cover. I never really got into Steve Martin. I mean, I know.
I got to
he's-
send you
I know
this
he's a legend.
interview. There's this great. You'd probably like it. I could tell this interview where Richard Pryor is on. I don't know if you've seen this on YouTube, but it's he's on cable access.
Yeah.
At the prison where he's filming a movie like Bustin' Loose or one of those.
Yeah,
And so the guy comes to just do this quick interview.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he can put it on his
Yeah,
cable access. But Richard Pryor, of course, decides to turn it into an epic art thing. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
decides to get really introspective.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to check
So,
that
but
out.
so he's very, very high on drugs, and he starts saying like one guy said something about Steve Martin, and he's like something bad about Steve Martin, and he goes, "You can't get me to try to say something bad about Steve Martin. Steve Martin is a genius, like it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing is amazing."
Yeah. Sometimes I try to do a Bill Cosby impression, and it sounds like Richard Pryor.
Oh,
Nick Cody doesn't think I should be allowed to do that, but hey, I think we should do. Look.
oh,
we could do voices.
That's all I could do. Oh,
You see?
oh, that's
No.
pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
See, it's almost that's more.
I can't do
Cosby,
Richard Pryor without swearing.
You know.
Because
Yeah.
his pat is like motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Dude, what a mustache, man!
Richard?
Mustaches, yeah.
Uh,
There's this. There's not a lot of good mustaches in Seattle comedy. There's this dude Shad Foster.
Oh, yeah.
Down in Tacoma. He's got a good mustache, but and
I
Rob
don't
Mon.
know.
Rob Mon had one. He shaved it off. Mike Heath has got a pretty decent little mustache.
oh yeah, like he's cool. He's charismatic.
But
he's a good guy.
you know,
I like his thing about looking like Ellen DeGeneres. And then you look at him and you go, he does look
yeah, he does.
like his eyes are all like
He also
blue, like Like
He
hers
could-
are like.
I think he could replace Ellen as the next big daytime talk show host. Like
He has the personality
Mike,
for
you know,
it.
he's like
He has
"T-
the personality. For it.
Today on the program from Missouri, live from Missouri, you know,
From Missouri.
yeah, Missouri, baby.
Yeah.
That guy, I want to get that guy on the podcast too. You know.
Oh, you haven't got him on?
No, not yet, not
Oh.
yet. His mic, I don't think his mic is going anymore. The big time.
Oh. Sorry to hear that.
We were veering off course here, though, man.
Oh,
so we're
okay,
talking about concerts and all that, comedy. So tell me about, like, was Jai Tai the first place you went to? Did you go to, like, the Comedy Underground?
Oh, I went to the Comedy Underground first. Did you go there?
No, I
You ever
never
been
went
there?
No.
Yeah, it kind of was a really cool place, and then it shut down, you know.
Shout out to Mike Masilotti.
Oh, yeah, Mike Masilotti.
he had this,
He wrote a book now. I haven't read it yet, but
I have it. You
Oh, you
wanna
have
borrow
it?
Yeah, I'll let you
Oh.
borrow it. You can read it.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
don't- Your name might be in there. I don't know.
Oh, yeah?
There's some names.
Someone
There's-
said that.
Robbie's in there. Joey Cruz is in there. Narin Van is in there.
Oh, okay.
There's a
Him and
lot.
Robbie are
Jason
pretty
is
good
in there.
pals.
Jason McBride.
Oh, he mentions a lot of people.
yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so, but I feel like your
Yeah.
name is probably in
Oh,
there.
maybe, yeah.
Just don't be sad if it's not.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people.
But
you know.
he had this like YouTube series, and back when I was in California, I was just, I always thought about
him and Robbie, right? What was it called? What
Well,
the
it was
you-
called like 100 Sets or something.
Oh, yeah,
90
100 Set.
something like that.
That's the
yeah.
production company. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So when I was back in California, I was like, just dreaming about living in Seattle. And
Oh, really?
And all that. Yeah. 'cause
That's amazing.
I didn't want to live. I mean, I grew up there. I was tired of living there.
Oh, okay.
Funny how your mindset changes when you actually move, but
Yeah, of course.
Seattle's okay, but it's just not what I thought it was.
That's
when I-
interesting. I've never even heard of anybody dreaming of the Seattle comedy scene. That's cool, though.
No, it wasn't the comedy. It was just moving to Seattle.
Oh,
when I
okay,
moved
just
here,
Seattle
I
in
wasn't
general.
even interested in comedy.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I just wanted to come up here.
Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
It is. It's just, it's not the music scene that it's the thing you find out about as you get older is reality is not. Reality is not what you think it is. Basically, like Hollywood, like going to everyone wants to go to Hollywood. You go to Hollywood, it's a fucking shithole. Like it's just homeless people everywhere. Like
Right.
just
Yeah.
shit everywhere. It's
My friend's always like, even now, he's still like, you got to come down here.
yeah.
And I'm finally like, look, I'm not going down there.
and
I'm here because I have a girlfriend. I'm old. It doesn't sound that good.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went down there and checked it out. I liked a lot of things about LA, but I am no way I'm gonna survive.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just like I tried to move down there like 11, 12 years ago, and didn't end up working out. The job interviews just they weren't good job prospects. But it was a blessing because I didn't end up moving. But yeah, all of my opinion on LA and stuff, that's from before COVID. And then during COVID, like watching videos and how bad it got, I was like, oh yeah, I'm so glad I'm not there now.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
But dude, I was on something. I was on a tangent there, and I forgot where I was going with it. Something about.
Oh, it's not as good as you thought it would be, or it's that was how were you thinking of?
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Yeah, and so
it's easy to get distracted on.
a lot of
so-
people they go to Hollywood to visit, and they think it's like going to be this great glamorous thing, and they're like, oh, it's really not that cool. Seattle, like in my mind, and in like probably 75% of the country who's never traveled, they still think Seattle is that 90s grunge, coffee tech.
Yeah.
Kinda, and it is, but it's not. It's really just a small part of what it actually is, and it's just
It's a big part of the tech
it's
world.
a bunch of people who don't like talking to each other is what it is. I've noticed a lot of the people that I've become really good friends with are actually people that aren't from here, people that have moved here from other places.
All right.
Michael
yeah.
Aguilera from Southern California. Some of the guys from like
That's a
Vermont,
good point, yeah. All right, yeah.
Jason, Adam Tiller from Vermont, and
I never really thought of that
know.
connection before, but Because a lot of people are who are from other
yeah.
places
Guy
who live
Crispin
here.
From a couple weeks ago, he's from Texas. Robert
Right.
Pinner from Texas. And
Right.
then
Oh yeah, definitely people from the South.
yeah.
For sure. He's real nice.
Yeah.
Robert Pinner.
Oh yeah.
I only met him a couple
those
times,
Texas-
but immediately
Texans-
stands out as just great guy. You know.
It's Texas is getting a bad rap just because of the mayhem of the comedy scene down there. But people from Texas have always been the most polite, wonderful people I've ever met. Whenever they've come to California and I had any sort of interaction with Texans,
Yeah.
they wear their heart on their sleeve and
Yeah.
their star on their cocks. I don't know.
There's spurs. They
Their
get their
Lone Star
spurs
cocks.
from jingling and jangling.
All
I
right, dude.
drove to Texas once,
Really?
and I had a fun time.
Oh yeah, dude, you were talking about Austin, right?
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
drove to Austin because I
right, well,
didn't want to fly because I was.
let's rewind. Comedy. When did it start? When did you first get on stage?
I got on stage about 2017, and it was
Okay.
when I started. Yeah.
2017. So you started before a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And what was it like?
And I have
What was
not
it-
been a success
I don't
necessarily,
know, man. I don't know.
but I've had some moments.
It
I've had
depends
my
on
moments.
what you consider.
I'm not done yet. I
Yeah.
could do the greatest special ever to
Hey,
live.
man, you were in a wheelchair just a few months ago.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Look at you now.
Yes, that's
You're
right.
on a worldwide successful podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
So-
awesome. That is awesome. I appreciate it.
So 2017, you said you had a buddy who was a pretty big name. You guys were drinking and stuff at Jai Tai. So what was the first place you went to?
Oh, I was at Jason McBride had a mic called the what was it called? It was down the street from Jai Tai by the Dick's Drive-In,
Okay.
and it was damn, I can't remember the name of it.
Young Jason.
Yeah, him and this guy Laith Seahan, they had a mic.
Mhm.
It was called the damn it, I can't remember it. She should be here. You should remember it. The Landfill.
The landfill.
It's called the Landfill, but it was
Really?
in a bar. The bar wasn't called that. It was inside of a bar. But anyways,
Well,
some
Seattle's
cool
got-
comics. Some cool comics were there. They were a little rougher than the people at Jai Tai, but a lot of overlap. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Uh-huh.
more likely you'll get on there than you would. And Jai Tai was a little more strict.
It's
Rick
kinda
Taylor.
like the Shanghai Room of its time.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
anybody could get on the Shanghai stage.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
So you just went into no comedy class, nothing like that. You just were like, I'm
Just
gonna-
years of watching it, and
Yeah.
and then I watched it for a while too.
So you watched
Like I
it
watched it for a while.
in person.
Yeah, I would
Dude,
go.
so did I.
Oh,
I
really?
did the same thing.
Yeah, people made fun of you. What happens is your personality becomes too big that you can't just watch.
Yeah.
They'll start including you,
Yeah, yeah.
and it just comes out of you.
I wasn't. I mean, how
if
long?
you-
How long did you watch?
Well, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months.
Okay. Yeah, I did about 2 months. I went to
Okay,
just
it
Tony.
might have
V's.
only been 2 months.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean, it might have, but it felt like a while.
Mm.
You know, and before
I
I
was
was
at
like,
Tony V's.
oh, okay.
It was about 2 years ago, actually.
Oh, wow, only 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow, you've come a long way, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's
That's great about comedy. Oh, you can just there's hardly any rules. You
Yeah.
can just push aside whatever and go for it. Yeah.
And it's cool to think about like the people that were there, the people that started. Like I can remember. This is not the one open mic, but in that time period, some of the people that I saw for the very first time, my first introduction, because I really wanted to see what was Seattle comedy. I knew what mainstream comedy was, but I was like, what is the local scene? How do I get into it? What's
Right.
it like? And
Yeah.
Everett was really close to where I live, about 25 minutes. So I'm like, all right, I'll just go check it out. Adam Tiller hosts Tony V's. I saw him. Some of the other guys I saw like Kate Carlson. I saw Noah Nguyen, who kind of started around the same time as me. Scott Coburn
Oh, sure.
started around that time. Nick Cody, Joe Nelson.
Oh, all at
These
Tony
are all-
V's?
These are like
All at Tony V's?
yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
keep saying guys. These are all guys. They're also women. There were some women there, but
It's funny when I
it's
was
mostly
going
guys.
when I was going to Tony V's. It's funny how the things overlap.
Mm-hmm.
When I was going to Tony V's. Adam Tiller was. I remember when he started.
Yeah, he started after you. Like 2019.
Yeah, he started after me. Yeah.
And Quinn too. Quinn started after you.
You think so?
Yeah, I talked to him. He told me he's only been doing about 6 years. So
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, Yeah.
Well, he's like, that's all I got to say about that.
No. He's awesome now. He's
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's gonna be featuring here, and no, he's a good guy. You know, something about comedy, which, you know, it's you develop these friendships and stuff with people, but sometimes when you go to these mics, especially at the comedy clubs, you're just so focused on like the time and getting up there, you don't get a chance to like talk to people. They're off to the next mic.
Yeah.
And so the cool thing about this podcast is I get to like force people to sit down and talk a little bit. And like, me and Quinn got to talk a lot, and some other.
I like Quinn.
No, he's a great dude.
I never get to see him, and I
so
haven't done
young,
any
too.
shows with him. But I just like exchanging comedic banter.
Yeah.
That's what I like. You know, I'm a goof off guy.
Yeah.
You know, but when he comes in, we can goof off. You know.
Well,
And
he's
most comics are down for it, even though it is a serious
Yeah.
venture. You know what I mean? For a lot of guys, you know.
Well, believe it or not, there's a lot of comedians that are not really comedy fans, you know,
But
and they do their stuff, but they don't really like a lot of stuff, and like
oh, other people's, you mean?
yeah.
Oh,
And
they
like,
might like stuff at home or something.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. A lot
Quinn-
of comics
but
don't
like-
want to watch other comics.
Yeah, Quinn's a comedy fan, so we could like talk about like Gary Goldman or Mitch Hedberg or something
sure.
like that.
Oh,
and talk
cool.
about like the art of not the art, but you know like how you put a set together, and like, you know, and it's like I really dig that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I kind of want to
especially-
be actually, lately I've been thinking, I want to be part of somebody's like a joke think tank
Wow.
where people think of jokes.
You mean like when Chris Rock has like 4 guys that just write all these jokes for him? And then,
I mean, it could be for like a show or it
well,
could be
soon
for like
as
a
I host the
movie.
Emmys, man, I'm hiring you.
Anytime anybody needs like more improve the level of what they're doing and get together and bounce it off people, I like that idea actually.
Oh yeah, I just remembered we were like we're gonna get political, and then we just totally skipped over it. But we're talking about comedy.
Oh, well, you can talk about politics if
we
you want
will.
to.
We will. Elections coming up, but
Yeah.
what
Who
was
are you
the-
voting for? Oh. Are they fighting over
I will
politics,
te-
oddly enough?
I will tell
Is
you,
that a political fight right over there?
whoever I vote for, the state of Washington is gonna vote for Kamala Harris. So
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Not everybody.
I can tell you, I voted for Jill Stein in 2016. That was a bad idea.
Oh, you don't like her now? Or you,
No, I mean, it's
just
just
'cause
like
there's no
throwing your
chance?
vote away. Yeah, it's like, you know.
I do think it's actually important for everyone to vote for the person they think is the best, regardless of anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
There
and
is an importance in it.
and she may have very well been the best, but I didn't do a lot of research. I'm just like, the Green Party, that's got to be the cool, like,
Yeah.
that's the best party.
Most people don't want to get involved or read about politics. It's
Oh,
a
dude,
it's a
yeah.
it's a shitty realm. There's a lot of bullshit, lying, and everything.
The thing I care about more about who's in charge is what are the laws, you know, like, are you gonna make us pay more taxes? Are you gonna make us do this, make us do
Yeah.
that? Like, you know, there was this whole thing in Washington a couple years ago about the $30 car tabs, and never like didn't we pass it? And then they still did. They're like, nope, we're not gonna let you do it. You know. Like,
Oh yeah, I think I paid $300 for car tabs a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and then now it's like 160 or something. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, nice of them to lower it
Yeah.
because they did some tax. And I'm like, 160 is still not that good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
in California, man, it is insane. I've heard that, like, especially electric vehicles, it is very, very expensive in California. So
Oh right.
glad I'm not there. So you remember kind of the first stuff you were doing as far as your bits and joking, and kind of how it changed?
Oh, yeah, I kind of remember that. Yeah, I was kind of always like a fun act, you know. You talking about what specific jokes?
Yeah, I mean, like, no.
Oh, I
just
remember. I
kinda
remember the first time
just
I got
kinda
a
like
huge laugh.
your style.
I did this
and stuff like
joke.
that.
I said, this guy outside, this kid was like, "Hey, you look like a really old Leonardo DiCaprio," and then that's pretty good roast, I thought,
Yeah, no.
because
I
it's
can see it.
it's what's interesting about it is it's an insult, but it's not all an insult.
Yeah.
You look like a handsome guy,
Who's
but just
old.
but like a senior citizen.
Yeah, yeah.
So the point was that I was like, but I did the joke. I was like, "You told me I look like a really old Leonardo DiCaprio." I go, "I checked, and I'm actually younger than Leonardo DiCaprio."
Really?
And then the whole
Holy
crowd
shit.
went crazy. They went like it wasn't even really that creative
Well,
of a
you
joke.
know, man, it's the women he dates keeps him looking young. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, but I remember that at Jai Tai, all of a sudden when everyone all big, you get a big laugh, you know. Yeah.
And then you remember everything shutting down as far as that?
Yeah, of course.
And how was that for you? I mean, were you deep into comedy at that time, or was it still kind of just this hobby that you do?
No, I felt like I was kind of on my way towards some things
So
at
it's
that
pretty
point. I
devastating.
did a feature set at no big deal to anyone else, but to me it was big. I did a big feature set at Tony V's,
Oh,
and
yeah?
a whole bunch of people came,
Nice,
like
nice.
filled the place up.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my friend recorded it like almost like a movie, and so I still have the video of it. It's like it looks like my own comedy special.
Really?
Yeah, it's like 22 minutes, but I was like great from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like just
What-
on fire.
What? You never posted it or anything like
Sure,
that?
yeah, I posted it lots of times.
Oh.
I can
well,
send it to you now. If you
Yes,
want.
let's
check it out. Yeah.
Link in the description.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
There
Put
you
it.
go.
I'll give
Yeah,
it to you.
Watch Casey's.
It's on YouTube.
Special from when was that? When was that?
2019.
The 2019, the pre-COVID special.
Yeah.
So, coming back, how was COVID for you? You know, were you was it
Kind of a sad time.
was it a bad
I
time
think-
for you?
Yeah, we did. A friend of mine actually kind of, not officially, but he started doing Zoom.
Yeah.
And he knew a lot of people, so we'd have these shows. when it was-
Zoom shows.
Yeah,
You
with
did the
people
Zoom-
from all over.
So you did some Zoom comedy.
Yeah,
man. Ooh.
yeah. Zoom
Sounds rough.
comedy. I remember one time we did one, and it was like all the people are up in their little squares, right? And
Uh-huh.
you're supposed to do a roast, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, you guys all look like you're trapped in your house and very sad." So you could roast them all at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah, there you
didn't
go.
have to go each one. You guys all look
Yeah.
miserable, like
Oh,
you're
man.
obeying government bullshit.
This is like back in 2010, 2011, they had those flash mobs where all these people would just show up and start dancing. You could do flash roasts where you just show up, roast everybody at once, and just
Yeah.
leave. You know, like
Oh, just FYI, I always want to make sure to get this out of the way. Anytime I'm in public or anything,
Yeah.
I was one of the bad people who does not agree with anything that went on with COVID. So just want to make sure I'm marked as
yes,
I'm the
vaccine.
anti-vaxxer.
Did you get the vaccine? Or?
No, I did not get the
Oh, okay.
vaccine.
So I got the Pfizer.
There you go.
I got very sick.
Oh, okay. Sorry
after
to hear
that.
Wow.
And then I got 2 boosters, and then after that, I'm just like, what's the point? You know, like it's
Yeah.
at that point. By the time I got the second one, the restrictions. I only did it for the restriction. That's all I did it for was just the restrictions. And then
Oh, sure.
also,
Yeah.
I can't even remember. Like I think my job paid us. Like, hey, we'll pay you $100 if you go do this.
Oh.
I just
Well, I
sold
paid-
my life away for.
I paid a
$100.
friend to give me a card that says I got a vaccine. So,
Hey,
so
really?
you had to enter.
Oh,
So you had to
nice.
enter in.
I remember
So I'm a
those.
law. I could get. Someday they'll
Yeah.
come after us or whatever. But whatever.
No. I mean,
Yeah, but I don't
who
care
knows?
anyways.
Someday AI is going to be in charge of everything, and who knows?
Yes. Yeah, it's an uncertain future we're all facing, but for now,
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways.
Unfortunately, I got a kid, so I'm like, this is going to be not good for her, but we'll see
Oh.
what happens after that, you know.
Oh, the future, you mean?
Yeah, the future. I mean, we're on the brink of total. I don't know. I feel like maybe we're always like this, but maybe we're not. Maybe it's not even as bad as they make us think. Maybe it's just the internet is trying to scare us. Like, think about how far it is from here to, Spokane. And so why am I afraid of some missiles on the other side of the world? I don't know. Should I be afraid? I don't know. Comment below and tell me why I should be afraid of missiles
Well, we could probably.
from the Middle East
We should probably
or
be.
North Korea.
We should probably be concerned with them. You know.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
I don't know. Are they as bad? Are they as bad as they tell us? Find out.
Are the missiles as bad?
No.
What a funny question. It's
Yeah.
They're really not that bad. They're kind of weak missiles.
Yeah, they're kind of like the COVID booster.
I saw an interesting point of
They're
view
kinda like
today. An interesting point of view about what's going on over there is that you're like, hey, things happen in war, and the guy was like, they're not involved in a war
Yeah.
because a war is there's two armies. You can't have. It's like having it's
war-
like having a fenced-in area, and you put some ducks in there, and you shoot in there, and you say you're hunting.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing some
Yeah, yeah,
hunting.
yeah.
So
They do that in Texas. Well, actually, they do. Well, sorry, Texas, but they do have these like big, like, fenced in, like, it's like acres and acres, but they still fence in these animals for people to hunt.
oh yeah,
they pay to go hunt.
yeah,
them,
they're like I forget what they call them.
Conservation.
Dick Cheney they used to do that. They actually had a hunting accident in one of them.
Dick Cheney hunted them.
Yeah, they were in one, but he hunted a person, but they were
Yeah.
in a controlled hunting area. You know what I mean? Where the quail are fenced in. Yeah.
Goddamn,
yeah, he
man.
shot a person.
Christian Bale.
Huh?
I can't believe Christian Bale, man. He played.
What did he do?
He played Dick Cheney.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, in the Cheney movie. Oh man.
God damn.
Holy cow.
I should have studied up all my.
Great movie. I think it's called Vice. Check it out. Check it out.
Okay. There's so many things to see.
It came out like in like 20, probably like the time you started comedy, like 2017 or something. But,
What kind of stuff do you watch now? Do you watch any? Does you have a favorite show or anything like that?
So I watch. Honestly, I watch a lot of YouTube and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But my wife and I sometimes will watch stuff together. We'll watch shows, and lately it's been kind of like real, just high fantasy type, like
escapism shit.
Like we loved Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon and stuff, and we just finished watching this Japanese show called Alice in Borderland.
Oh, I've heard of it,
And
but I
it's
haven't
about-
watched it.
It's
on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's about these people that have to play these games, and they all get killed, and only one or two people survive, and they got to play another game, and it's like it's kind of like The Running Man meets Saw, but it's in Japan, so you have like.
You ever watch The Black Mirror?
I haven't, and I really know a lot about it. I know the first episode, especially. And it seems like a show I'd really like, but I also am scared to watch it because of how realistic it is to our modern times. Like it's pretty wild. But no, it's I really love that stuff. I mean, like movies. I try to watch anything that's like a kind of like an off the wall sci-fi independent kind of thing. Like there's certain directors I follow, like David Cronenberg.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Him. Like he did. Like, The Fly,
Dead
Scanners,
Ringers,
and all
right?
that. Yeah,
Dead
yeah.
Ringers, okay.
And then his son, Brandon Cronenberg, he's come out with some really great movies the past few years. He had this movie called Antiviral, which is about, it's in the future, and it's about how we're obsessed with celebrities to where, like, we'll take anything to be part of them. And one of the things is, like, celebrity diseases. And, like, the movie is about, like, there's this guy that's in love with this Paris Hilton type pop star.
Oh, okay.
Britney Spears type pop star, and she has herpes, and so he like goes into her hotel room and uses her toothbrush so he can get her disease, so he can like feel like he's part of her. Pretty wild movie, and there's like a lot of gross. It's Cronenberg, so there's like gross stuff.
Have you ever seen Ton Salons' movies? The movie like Happiness.
Maybe sounds familiar.
It's a freaking bizarre movie. But,
Happiness.
Yeah, it's
What
not
else
very.
What else has he done?
That's a good question.
Brandon Cronenberg also did a movie called Possessor, which is a really great, like
Possessor?
Yeah. So what that movie is like kind of like in the movie Total Recall, how these people they hook up to a machine and they go into like a VR, like a world.
Oh, it sounds almost like Clockwork Orange when they punish the guy. Have you seen that?
In Possessor, what they do is they hook up to these machines, but they take control of real people. And so what they do is they like commit like these assassinations while they're controlling other people, and then they go back into they zoom back into their body.
Have you seen the movie Memento?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Memento's fascinating movie to me because
one of the best Nolan movies. Like, and it's
I think it's actually a story of America.
Really? Okay, let's get it. Memento is the story of America.
Okay, so here's the idea behind America is we're taught to be fair and kind and we're taught to always stick up for the underdog.
Uh-huh.
We learned this in movies more than just in school.
Yeah.
We learned it in TV shows.
Disney movies.
Yeah, brotherhood, pick up friend when they're down.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And we learned that we're the good guy and we help people throughout the world.
Oh yeah.
So what happens in Memento is this guy, his wife gets killed, and he can't remember anything past 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So he has to rely.
Was it an accident he had? That
Yeah, he
caused-
fell down.
and then he basically just loses his memory.
So he has to write on his body.
And it's like tattoos. I think he tattoos
Yeah.
himself.
So
he never
what?
loses
Long
them.
story short, the guy who's like helping him, this cop who's helping him, what he's really doing is tricking him into killing the guy who killed his wife over and
Yeah.
over again whenever he needs like a drug dealer killed.
Yeah.
So he just uses him to get people. So
Control. Yeah.
So what happens is he just says, "Well, you're the guy who's killed my wife." So that's what he does. So with what I'm saying is, America, if we teach us to be fair, we don't know when to stop being fair. In other words, that's why we can't shut up and just go along with things. You'll see people like Julian Assange or whatever, or people. So what happens is they'll rebel.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing comedy in the first place, to say something a little off color, or have fun. Just not being a good boy. That's why you're
Yeah.
into music. Same thing. You're trying to do
Rebel.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really understand why it's the story of America, but
Because what could happen is if you trick people into saying America is the actual bad guy, what happens is we will then go destroy America. There's a lot of people who want to destroy America. It's not a good idea. I don't think you should destroy America.
So what's happening then is we are the good guys, but everybody.
USA?
What? Yeah.
USA, you mean, or us?
Yeah,
Or-
I don't know. Are it's USA? Are we
Okay.
the good guys? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we have a lot of good things about us. We got a pretty good country. I mean,
Oh no, the
as-
country is amazing,
as
and the
bad
people.
as people say about this country, there's so many worse countries out there.
No, the country is
Yeah.
amazing. The country needs to hold together. The
Yeah.
country needs to, stay with everything we're doing now.
Yeah.
Keep on going. Everyone wants to pursue their dreams, do their goals. All of it is good.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against America, but I don't like people running America doing things that are kind of interfering with us and
Yeah.
or hurting people across the world. You know what I mean? It's not the people.
Well,
so-
yeah, and it just causes so much. I mean, it
Yeah.
causes chaos here.
I don't
mean,
mean to
like,
be not funny or nothing. But it's not that
is
funny.
This is an educational show. People. We're here to learn. We're here to have fun. We're here to,
Yeah.
maybe say a little things that are a little off color. What are you gonna do?
Nothing.
So
yeah.
I don't even remember, man, the first time I met you, but I know.
Probably at the Comics Who Should Be
That's
Dead.
what I was
huh?
saying. I was saying you started doing these Comics Who Should Be Dead shows.
Yeah.
So and that was you and Jason. So
Yeah, me and Jason. Yeah.
we were at. So you would do these things over at the Backfire Moto Bar over
Yes.
in Aurora Avenue in Seattle. So how did that thing come about? What was the whole thing? Why'd you want to put this show together? Comics Who Should Be Dead.
It's weird. I can't remember. I thought it was my idea because I had this idea about my friend did a movie called Casey Judson Should Be Dead, and so I thought Comics Who Should Be Dead was about me. But apparently Rob and Jason thought of that actual title. But I feel like I had something to do with it. The idea is it's comics who are like a little worn down by comedy.
Oh.
Or, so it's not, it's like, or, there's a lot of comics who've had hard lives.
Yeah.
And so the
yeah.
idea is I wanted comics who'd not like the most perfect, young looking, awesome. I wanted like people who'd had hard shit happen.
That's why I was never picked, because
Oh.
I am perfect. And I
no,
am
you were
awesome.
picked.
No,
You were
no,
picked.
I wasn't. I would just.
And
did
you
the-
were there.
I did the open mic at the end.
That was
know?
weird because people started wanting to come on, and then I couldn't just pick people because I had a partner,
Yeah.
and so I'd have to go always like, okay, so what do you think of so and so?
Yeah.
And then he was hard to get that with sometimes, so
Well.
it was a lot of challenge just to get back to people and talk and smooth things over and make people happy and everything.
It was.
People take it real personal.
Well, I'm starting to learn that now. Like I'm in this competition right now, and I'll talk about that in a
Oh,
sec.
okay,
but,
yeah.
you had a good vibe there, man. It was really fun going to just as a spectator. You know, I went to a couple of those shows. I remember the Halloween one where
Okay, yeah.
Jason was dressed up as the devil.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And Andy, what did he have, like a cow outfit or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's some good sets. I saw Rob. I saw Keon.
Yeah.
Brian Fukuda. That's the first time I ever saw him.
Oh yeah,
And
I like him.
Yeah, Robbie
Yeah.
Schrader. He did a really long set there.
Yeah.
And then like there was like this little room next to the room that was like a little hangout area.
Oh yeah, yeah. I liked that right away.
It was
so people could mingle and meet and shit.
It was a good
Yeah.
vibe. And then I think it just you know, you were doing them a lot, and it was just hard to get people out. And I heard that there was like a political show you guys did that just like it's hard to get people to go to. That's
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
kind of like talking about things.
I did a show called "What's Funny About Israel and Palestine."
Yeah,
And
what is
apparently
funny?
nothing was.
Yeah, I don't
apparently.
know.
Yeah, but even that show, things about it went good. Like Jay Markovitz is really talented.
Yeah, Jay
He
Marks.
came on and he did a segment called "Ask the Jew," and that was
Nice.
hilarious. We were talking about
Nice.
making it but there was only like not that many people
I
there
feel
for that
like
one.
that needs to be his podcast. Just
Ask the Jew, right.
Yeah. Just an hour of him reading letters from
And he
people.
said some stuff that was remarkable.
Really?
Like not all pro-Israel stuff at all.
He's one of those guys I saw too in the
Very
beginning.
bright.
Before I ever started, he was one of the guys at Tony V's. Him and Jack Slattery, both really
Sure.
funny guys.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Both.
Yeah.
Not all my favorite comedians are white males, though. I mean, there's some other one. Brian's Asian. He's pretty good, you know. So
Who's your favorite of the lady comics?
the lady comics.
Unless you hate all ladies, which is fine. too.
There's a lot, you know.
Shout out Laura.
Cheyenne is pretty funny.
Cheyenne Burns?
Yeah.
Oh wow, you remember her?
She came here like when she was in town.
She's a phenom.
yeah.
She was on our. I think she probably did her first show.
She was on your show. Yeah, that's right.
Like her first. It might be her first.
Her and her sister are really funny.
Yeah, her sister's funny.
Those two are great.
She's
And then-
living in Austin now.
Yeah,
In a van or
something.
something.
Oh yeah,
or something. I
I've
can't-
seen. She
yeah.
posts some crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
crazy stories.
She's the female Fed smoker.
Yeah.
I don't want to reveal her.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever
she's awesome.
it is. And then like we just had a lot of good ladies here. You know, we had
Sure,
Maria
yeah.
Elizabeth. And
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Minlin, and
Yeah, she's a real nice
Roseanne LaForce and
Oh, yeah.
Carol Freeman. And
lady. Yeah.
Lori Peck. And,
Oh yeah, Lori's real good.
you know, and
She's been on our
yeah, so
comics
many-
Who Should Be Dead too thing.
yeah.
We
oh,
always
yeah,
tried to put a woman or two every time.
I think it's important.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not a big divide up diversity.
yeah.
Like, but I also like people just
Yeah.
on my own.
Yeah.
So you don't have to twist my arm to include. Things are funner with women included in it.
yeah.
It's
oh,
like
it's a different
you just want
energy.
to have women on the thing around. You wanted them to want to come to your shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want to be an incel comic place, you know, unless you're an incel.
That would be
guess.
fun. An incel comedy show where everybody's just
Right.
looking
We're just
down.
like, yeah, everything's against us.
Uh,
So hilarious.
and there'll be a girl, like a hot girl in a hot tub, like, you know, and everybody's like, donate, donate, donate. You know, I don't know.
Oh, like
My show that I put on a show here. Dude, I don't know if I'm ever gonna do another show because it's so nerve wracking, like producing.
Oh, no
trying to
doubt.
Sell tickets, all that.
yeah.
My show turned out pretty well, and I had a really diverse cast of characters. I mean, we had Keon, Nick Cody, Jordan, Courtney Brennan,
Okay.
JoJo Blacko, and me. And,
Oh, okay.
so we kind of got the whole. We got black, we got white, we got gay, we got straight, we got
Woman,
yeah, female.
female. Yeah.
And then we got Nick Cody, big football energy. So it
That
was-
sounds fun.
we had a
show.
nice. It was a nice, and that's what I like. I think that's what makes a good show is if you have a lot of the same type. It kind of, I don't know. It's a little one note. It's nice to have different style and like, I don't know. That's kind of like why I like my style because my style is a little bit different than.
Hey, you move around on there. You're moving around. You look comfortable up there.
Well, it's
You
it's
know, you're
fun.
physical.
I'm
That's a
having fun.
physicality to it.
I'm so. Hey, how are you?
Hello. Hi.
Corey.
Hi, Corey.
How are you?
Pretty good. How you doing, Casey?
You don't know Casey? Oh, well.
Oh, I don't know. I never met you,
Oh,
but I've seen your name on the poster and stuff.
yes.
Yeah, cool.
Corey
You're
is
featured tonight, huh? Yep. Cool. That's
Corey is one of the
you-
best.
Oh,
One
yeah,
of the
no?
best. Corey was
really?
on my team.
Oh,
for,
really?
Do you want to sit down? Hey, join the podcast.
You can describe what happened on your.
Yeah. Oh, you can tell us about
Yeah, I'm
your
interested in
experience
that.
too. Here we go. Here's your microphone. Let's
Oh, hi.
check. Hello, hello.
Hello, hi.
There's the camera.
What's up, camera?
People, Corey Bennett,
Hi.
a phenom from Tacoma,
Olympia.
Olympia.
Close enough.
Oh my
Oh.
God, you drove so far to be here.
I did.
Holy cow.
Yep.
Well, thanks
Oh, you
for
drove from
coming.
Olympia?
Yeah.
Thanks
Oh,
for
wow.
coming up here.
Thanks for
Nice.
having me.
So, dude, yeah, we were just talking about the comedy voice. You know, Casey here, he's been doing comedy in Seattle since about 2017.
Nice.
Puts on a couple shows here and there. And then we're talking about COVID and that whole thing and how it was really hard. I didn't start comedy till after COVID.
Nice.
So how about you? How are you doing?
Good.
yeah.
Good. I started like 2021, so like kind of as COVID was winding down.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I've just been doing it ever since.
Yeah. It's Olympia.
Did you start in Olympia?
Tacoma. So I
Oh.
did the Tacoma Comedy Club. They did their class, and they had it virtual for COVID, and so it was a little bit
Oh.
cheaper. So I ended up doing that, and then
Who's the
just-
teacher? Was that?
Corey Michaelis.
Oh, he's good. Oh, he's really
yeah,
good.
he's
yeah.
awesome. I love
I've
him.
Oh, yeah.
never seen him, but I've seen the name. I've seen the
Oh.
headlining of the clubs and the Everett, the big Everett Theater and stuff like that. So I'm
Yeah.
just starting
Oh.
to. I mean, you know, dude.
He's a super successful guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's done other stuff. Like, I forgot what else, but like owned
Yeah, he's-
companies and or something.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, owning
Yeah.
a company, that sounds a lot better and cooler than comedy. I don't know.
Sounds like a lot more work.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
dude.
nothing's cooler than comedy, though.
Yeah.
Seriously, even the people who don't do like are successful at comedy, if you
Mhm.
tell people you're doing comedy, it's still considered a cool thing for the
Yeah.
most part because it's something that people are scared to do. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So there's I'm scared to do it too.
I think that's normal. I think everybody's scared to do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Do you remember first time on stage? Like,
Yeah. It was at their graduation show for the class.
be a little closer.
Oh,
Hello. It was at their graduation show for the class.
Okay. So you did the class online.
Yep.
Through the Zoom or something
Yep.
like that, and then in person was the graduation.
Yeah.
So
And it was like 2 or 3 months after the
Wow.
class ended. Because usually they do it right after.
Mhm.
But it was cool. Like I had a bunch of family show up and friends, and then like my other classmates were there, so it was a lot of fun. And it was all right. It was pretty.
Did you keep
Good.
doing mics when you ended the class to stay sharp for your show, or did you not do?
No, that
Probably
was
wasn't
You
a
know what I
lot.
mean?
No.
I guess there wasn't a lot of stuff going on. Then.
no. And I was living in
Oh,
Shelton
yeah,
at the
yeah.
time too, so I was like an hour from Tacoma anyway.
Oh wow.
But yeah, they.
Oh right.
Yeah, that was the first time I performed. Was that graduation show?
Oh yeah, you did say that. Sorry.
Was anybody in that class still around now?
Dean Kirkpatrick.
Oh yeah,
he and I did that class
just
together.
He just did the voice too.
Yep,
and
he did.
He's hosted a weekend. They're just saying now, on my night, the reason they didn't pick him, they said, well, hey, you just hosted your first weekend, so what are you doing here? You know,
Yeah.
I don't know, but he's still
He's great. I love Dean.
Very deep voice. Holy cow.
Yes.
Very manly. I'm jealous of that voice.
Ah.
I can only.
Yeah.
I
I
haven't heard this
dream.
guy.
Uh,
To check him out.
you like a manly voice?
Very.
Yes, I
I gotta
tried.
start driving
I
all the way
tried.
down to Tacoma
I
again.
very tried.
What's
do.
going on down there?
Oh,
Yeah, Tacoma's kind of where it's at right now.
Yeah.
idiot. Oh, well, I drive so far.
And-
Me and Jeremiah Hughes, I think, are tied for people who drive the farthest to go.
Probably.
To, open mics. I did go to Olympia twice though.
Nice.
The Three Magnets. That was cool.
Yes.
We had some good weeks there. You know, I still am. I have PTSD because I told this joke that Allison didn't like, and she was visibly upset. And we're cool. I just saw her the other night, but I still, even then, you know, you hate like I don't want to make people feel bad, especially like people I really like
Yeah.
comedians and stuff like that.
Oh,
And so,
what was the joke? That's good.
Oh, God.
No.
It was a Down syndrome type joke, but it really wasn't about that. It was more about me being a ignorant person as a kid. So, but it's just
Right.
you just take it as it goes and rewrite it and all that.
Yeah.
So, were you nervous? First time
Oh
you
God,
went
yeah.
up?
I still get nervous.
Were you
Like,
doing any? Did you ever get on stage before comedy?
yeah, I did drag in college.
Oh, really?
And then I was a theater kid in high school too.
Oh,
I was not a
perfect.
good one, but
That gives you experience. at least
yeah.
getting up
So
there.
I had a little bit of stage experience, but comedy is a lot different because everything else I had done, it's like you are playing a part in a play or a musical, so like you have lines, or like when you do drag, you're lip syncing, so you have a song that you're performing.
And
It's very
Whereas-
intimate and very personal when you fail. Like,
Yeah.
it's very. They didn't like you. Not
Yeah.
you, but I mean, anytime anyone fails, it's literally like they're like, yeah, we didn't like what you were saying, or like,
Yeah,
So it's-
comedy's a lot different because you write all your own material, and it's
yeah,
very much a vulnerable art form because
yeah.
you are essentially putting who you are out on stage,
Unless
and people
you
may not
steal
like
some
that.
jokes.
Yeah, you could
Which-
do that.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean that also kind of shows who you are.
That's true. Yeah. You go, hey, aren't these jokes great? And they go, they are great. Doesn't make
Yeah.
Well, I have to be honest, man. The reason I like your style is it doesn't even feel like you're telling jokes. It just feels
Nice.
like you're talking.
Thank you.
And you're just having a conversation and people are laughing. And I think that's it's just something about. There's just certain people that just have that gift.
Thank you. I
So-
appreciate that.
And I like that's why I tell and I know. I feel like I have a good gauge on like what people like, and so there's all these people, like especially women. I'm like all these women. I'm like, come, you gotta come out. You gotta come see Corey. I said you're gonna really like. Honestly, you're gonna really like this stuff. And so
Yeah.
Have you ever?
Why is
had,
it like sensitive?
No, it's just personal. It's like
I mean,
personal,
I am.
personal stuff.
Huh?
Personal,
I am.
There's no
but-
way. There's no way you could go.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, it's amazing and brilliant.
I mean,
Well,
yeah.
It's,
I've been told that a few times. No.
No.
I can just only imagine. I mean, like, growing up the way you did, it's. I'm sure you had a very interesting life.
Yeah.
Olympia, being a big city, but still, Washington. My experience moving to Washington, not as open-minded outside of Seattle.
Yeah. Once you get away from like King and Pierce County,
Yeah.
Olympia's nice though. It's very queer friendly, which I
Yeah.
do really like. But I grew up in Shelton,
Yeah.
which was not.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's getting better, thankfully, in the past decade that I've lived there. But yeah, small town.
Well, I feel like, and I could be wrong because I don't really have a gauge on the youth, but I just feel like the young people today are more open, more accepting.
Yeah.
But I feel like when we grew up, man, it was a little tough. I mean, it was a
Absolutely.
little tough, and like
Oh yeah, I grew up
All
in a
of
small
us-
town too, in Eastern Washington.
Oh, where'd you grow up?
In Tenasket, Washington.
Ah, yeah.
And I had friends who would get in a fist fight with their dad. Like,
That's
right in front of
crazy.
me. They would fist fight, and I didn't even have a dad. It was very strange to.
That's wild.
Yeah. So you're everyone. If you're not a fist fighting your dad, you're kind of soft. You know
Right.
what I mean, so you're just trying to hang around someone who's mean, so you're not considered soft,
Yeah.
But some people are just kind of softer, and it's probably okay,
I can tell you. I mean, when I was a young kid, it was like there was this like among boys and young boys is like when you talk about people being gay, it was like ooh, like
Yeah.
weird. And luckily for me, my mom growing up, she had gay friends in like the early 80s.
Yeah.
And so like she was so open to it. And when I was kind of becoming a young teenager, 12, 13, she had two friends,
Mhm.
two gay men,
okay.
Paul and Jason. Paul
Oh.
was a hairdresser. He worked at
That tracks.
Classic Hair Supply and Salon in Woodland, California.
Of course, he was a hairdresser.
And
Not to stereotype.
And Jason, Jason worked at the perfume area in Gottschalk's.
Okay.
nice.
Oh, all right.
These guys used to come over, smoke weed with my mom, and just talk, and then just all that. And that's, I didn't have my dad, so like those
Yeah.
were the men that I was around like for a long time. I mean, they weren't like father figures, but they were just like a few years older than me,
Yeah.
5, 6
Alright.
years older, and And so, I don't know, man, because of my mom not having a stepdad or whatever, I mean, she's been single forever, you know, I just really got into what I feel is classic gay culture, you know, gossip, celebrity stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Dance music. And also, dude, I've watched 15 seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Hell yeah.
And,
Oh, wow.
My wife, like, and I'll be like, even being an open-minded person, drag was one of those things in 2012 where I was like, wait, what? What are we gonna watch? Logo TV?
Right.
Like, this is pretty. But
Logo.
then
I forgot about Logo.
yeah. But you start to, it's like anything. You start to understand the personalities and the work that goes into it and the artwork and like
Drag is hard.
makeup is so hard.
I did it for a couple years in college. It takes like 2.5 hours to put on all the makeup and get everything ready. And then you have to like do all the choreography or whatever performance you're doing. It's so much work. I could never do it professionally.
Yeah. And
Like comedy, you just go up on stage and whatever you're wearing, you're like, I'm going to tell some jokes.
Right.
But
Huh.
drag, it's like there's so much more to it.
Yeah.
Also, wigs are so uncomfortable.
and it's just the last
I'm gonna start.
You should.
I want to start.
the
doing
last
drag.
few years,
Like
how
all the
it's
time.
transitioned instead of this big, just kind of juggernaut of a, and now the outfits have become designer wear, and it's
Yeah.
like, and it's like everybody has a team now, and it's just such a
team?
It's really I mean, people have like
Oh.
makeup artists. And
Oh,
clothes
sure. Oh,
designers,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
and it's like, in the back when that whole thing started, I mean, everybody was doing everything themselves. They were trucking all the wigs around themselves. And
Oh,
all
right,
that.
yeah.
And now it's really cool. I mean, I think it's really great the way it's kind of put itself into the mainstream. And
Yeah.
like, I love I love a lot of the music. You know, I mean, I got a love for Dora Delano. I mean,
Yeah, I love Adore Delano.
What do you think of the men's rights movement?
Oh, God.
No,
I have to go. I'm so sorry.
I was talking to a comic at today,
Uh-huh.
and it was about how if you're identified as sort of a masculine male guy, you're sort of not really supposed to be like all that into crying or your feelings and shit.
yeah.
And
I have
so
a joke about
he
that,
was
yeah.
telling me that this I thought was really interesting. He said that he's had problems every time he likes a girl. He starts telling them that he loves her, and then they're like, "Yeah, fuck off," you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They don't want to hear that. And then he said he told that story to a gay friend of his, and the gay guy was like, "That's weird and gay." Like he was judgmental too.
Yeah.
So here supposedly men are causing this thing where they can't express their feelings, and he just had a woman and a gay guy affirm it worse.
Well, I mean,
You know what
that
I mean?
makes
So
sense.
It's not all men doing it.
No.
It's like a culture doing things like that. Anyways, men are mixed up. They need to
Oh,
figure out this shit.
we are messed up. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting
Anyway.
better, I think.
Yeah, I think
Hopefully.
so. Yeah.
I do think it
definitely.
is getting a little more acceptable for men to be emotional,
Yeah.
which I think is really good. Because, like, I grew up in a small redneck town. Like, you weren't allowed to have any sort of feelings.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
you remember like the movie American Beauty.
I've never
Oh,
seen
yeah.
it.
No, you never seen
Oh
it?
yeah,
Nope.
the
Okay,
dad.
so
The dad.
so in the movie American Beauty, there is a neighbor. Kevin Spacey has this neighbor who's very kind of almost like a alt-right kind of that kind of thing, and he gets drunk one night and kisses him,
Mhm.
and it's like all the built-up frustration inside of him was really something else. And I would imagine, a lot of that small town stuff growing up, there's probably a ton of that.
Oh,
A
yeah,
lot of these
absolutely.
People that maybe wanted to come out, but their parents, it just wasn't accepted. There's a lot. I didn't grow up with religion. I still know
Yeah.
religion is still a big thing.
I know you
can
could
It
be
is.
if you're in a certain town, you can be considered like a laughing stock of the town.
Mhm.
So you imagine what that's like. Everyone wants to be accepted in their school. Like everyone wants to be popular
Yeah.
and everything. So I'm not saying you shouldn't be yourself. You should be yourself, but it's easy to see why people would not want to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because
yeah.
people just want to be thought of as cool and everything. So,
It's-
Yeah, it's being accepted by people around you is kind of like paramount to survival a lot of times.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I'm saying there's in a town where you can't leave
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Right. That's your whole life.
Yeah, because like even
Yeah.
still today, there's lots of people who are in the closet or can't come out because of their families or their community.
Yeah.
Like the way I grew up, I had it relatively easy compared to a lot of gay people.
Yeah.
Like I still grew up very religious, and my parents weren't great when I came out, but like I never got kicked out of my home or anything like that.
What?
How's things now with them? They're pretty good.
Better.
Yeah, better.
Not so much with my mom, but that's because she's dead.
Oh. Sorry
but-
about that.
Oh.
It happened a long time ago. But no, my dad's cool with it, and my sister was always very supportive.
Yeah. That's nice.
But it took me a very long time to even just become even remotely comfortable with the idea of it.
Yeah.
Like well into late high school. So it's very much something that still happens today, where
And-
people just, even with like, social media and the internet and like everything on TV where it's more acceptable, it's still like you get in those smaller communities or those more conservative communities, and it's just
Oh.
not okay.
Yeah. So we know how women feel, but how about your perspective? Are men still pretty bad people?
Yeah. Have you met them?
Yeah.
I don't know. I go back and forth on it because I think men are kind of victims of the world we created.
Yeah.
There's still lots of privilege to being a man, but also like what we were talking about, like you can't express any emotion other than anger, or like, being calm.
Yeah.
And I think that really screws up a lot of people because being vulnerable is necessary to be emotionally healthy.
Mhm.
And men are taught that you need to avoid it, that it's weakness, when really I don't think it is. I think it's the opposite.
Yeah.
You got to get it out.
Yeah.
You got to let it out, man. Or it doesn't go away like whatever's in there. It doesn't disappear.
Yeah.
So it's going to come out some way. So I feel like you got to say, yeah.
I always say I think men are just as emotional as women.
Yeah.
Like,
think
I mean,
so too.
I think that men and women are a lot more similar than they are different, especially in the way we think and the way we function just as people. Like,
Yeah.
obviously there are differences, but, for the most part, we're the same. We're all people.
So you're saying men are better.
I won't go that far.
Yeah.
Men
actually-
are better than everyone
I disagree with that
else.
statement.
Yeah.
Most of my friends are women.
Yeah.
I don't know
Women
these
are
people.
Cool. They're second.
I don't condone this statement.
I know.
I have,
I'm
a
a terrible
lot,
person.
I have a lot of female friends too, almost, and I think I said that because I think I said that recently because I almost feel like a lot of times, I almost feel like guys are in competition with me, and it's like
Competition?
It's weird, and I don't know if it's maybe in my head because of the comedy thing or something like that, but like.
No, I can
We're
definitely see that.
competitive.
But women, they just like, oh hey, you're nice and you're not hitting on me, like.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think it's like, hey, that's an easy thing to do, just be nice, treat
Yeah.
somebody as a person. That's
Right.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
you'll stand out. They'll like you. You're someone they can talk to and goof
Yeah.
around with. You have to figure also people who come into comedy, they all came in because they like to joke around.
Yeah.
So when you come in, it's like to have someone have a fun time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So focus on making sure people have a fun time, instead of your own.
There is-
I want to be
There's-
recognized more.
There
for
are
my
some people
amazing-
that go on stage that don't want to make the audience happy. Believe it or not.
Right.
That's true.
So we.
Well, you don't want to seem like you need them to be happy.
Yeah.
You don't want to seem desperate. But I want to make them happy.
Yeah.
Like to see people
We're all
smile.
trying to make people laugh.
Oh, dude. Yeah. It's all about the positive energy. you know?
Yeah.
You and I, same team.
Well, not anymore.
Sherry's team for The Voice.
Sherry Hardman.
Unfortunately, round 2 just happened.
I did not make it.
How did it go? How was the night?
It was good. It was a really hard pick because there's 5 people on our team.
It was rough. I was on the night 4, and man, so many great people
Yeah.
were passed up, and just the way they select is tough because it's like if they don't like you now, then you're gone, and it's like there's not a lot of opportunity
Is
to
it
go
just
back.
based on one set? Like you just do a
the
set?
beginning? Yes, the first
Oh,
round,
okay,
yes,
okay.
3-minute
Yeah.
set.
Oh, okay. Oh,
And
wow.
Which
then
is the
they
hardest.
whittle it down.
Yeah.
Who else was on our team that night?
That night it was James Roberts.
Anthony, right?
Yep, Anthony Schumann, Carol Freeman, me, and Chandler Noble Hatch.
Yeah.
And Chandler and Anthony were the ones who moved forward.
What kind of feedback did you get on that?
You're funny. That was all. Yeah.
Really? That's it?
Woo.
I almost spilled it again.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you did. Yeah,
Woo!
I thought it was kind of funny that they gave feedback that night though,
Yeah.
because like, we meet up with our coach beforehand and like work through our set.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we kind of already did the feedback thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good feedback. It was just like,
Well, I mean, it's weird because if you're good and you continue going there, they're gonna end up putting you on. It's not this
Totally.
competition is just kind of I kind of look at it as like they want to see who's out there and who's serious about comedy.
Yeah.
Like who can come out and write a really good set and deliver a good set. And obviously, I mean, the people that win, they're gonna win the money and they're gonna get some guaranteed spots. But there's gonna be people that don't go through that competition. They're gonna end up hosting for people in the future. And,
Yeah.
featuring
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I think it's just showing up is like one of the best things to do. Is just
yeah.
You know.
And comedy is so subjective too that I feel like it kind of makes it easier to be less bummed out when you don't move forward.
Yeah.
Because it's like, maybe it just wasn't, you weren't their cup of tea, or, there's so many people they had to pick from.
Yeah.
It's
That's
amazing
like-
how much improvement you see from people, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people really do go from a certain spot, and you can see in like 6 months, they're almost like a total different person. I've seen it happen a lot, where they're like,
Does it happen with me?
huh?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's happened with you.
No,
a lot.
you
You know, a
don't
lot.
you don't see me
A
that
lot
much.
better. A lot better than when I. But I don't like to evaluate people. Tell them when they weren't good or whatever. But
I
Yeah.
don't
I've
think
seen
anybody
it-
paid
a lot
attention
of
to me a year
improvement.
ago anyway. So
A lot
it
of
doesn't matter.
improvement. A lot of improvement. In you.
Oh man, I drink so much water. I'm gonna have to go soon.
No problem.
So, but you got some stuff coming up. You got some
Yep.
shows. Man, hold on. Before that, let's just say, just shout out the other people on our team.
Mhm.
We got Jess Anderson.
Yes.
Stephen Ryan, Lisa
Rimmert.
Okay.
And Chris Jessup from
Yes.
Spokane.
Oh, okay.
Very funny guy.
And me.
I
It
like
was a
Stephen
great
Ryan.
team.
He's a funny
Yeah.
guy.
And all different, unique, different people. I don't know Lisa very well. I've only seen her once. You guys went through the same night on the first round. And,
Yep. And I've worked with Lisa a bunch. She's hilarious.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorites.
yeah, I know you and Lynette. I see you guys around too. So
Yeah.
if those two ever want to be on the podcast, just put it out there. Just
Yeah.
put it out there. Lynette's killing it though, man.
She is.
Just everywhere, all the time. You know who
Yeah.
else? Rachel. I'm not even gonna
Rachel
say her
Afjay.
last. You say her
Oh,
last name.
she's
not
Yeah.
funny. Yeah. Yes, who-
She is killing it too, man.
Yeah.
Always doing it. I mean,
Yeah, she opened for Bob the Drag Queen. I was like, the hell?
Oh, dude, yeah, for a whole weekend.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
No, she's awesome. I
and
love
then
her.
She had some bad situation at a bar with some random dude, which we're talking
Oh.
about why men are assholes, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
So it all happens. But yeah, man.
I've seen her open for Dave Attell.
Really?
Another thing down there too. Another
way.
opening act where they had all the people from Tacoma. They were
Oh.
really good. For Monica Nevi or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monica's great too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw her
Yeah.
open for
Yeah.
Doug Benson.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh okay.
Doug was not
She's
having
really
a good
cool
night.
from
Oh,
Renton.
man.
It was
Poor Doug.
Huh?
I mean, I haven't run into this that many times, and maybe it's just because it's not at comedy clubs, but some people arrived late to the show, and he pointed
Oh,
it out.
no.
He was just like, "Get out of my show," kind of thing. And
Oh.
Who?
it's kind of a very
Doug Benson.
Oh really?
Yeah, very
Oh.
kind of an old school
Oh.
way to.
I thought he was
approach
a
the
weed guy.
situation.
He was just all
He
about
was,
weed.
Yeah, but he was
Not
having
everybody
a-
who smokes weed is
Yeah.
laid back.
he just
Right.
was not
It's a
having good night.
stereotype. And I smoke a lot of weed. Get the hell out, you son of a bitch. I'm Doug Benson. God damn it.
Do you guys have any favorite comedians?
Oh,
like
yeah. Norm
big name
Macdonald.
comedians? Who?
Norm Macdonald.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Norm's great.
I
Well,
always get told I sound like him, which is sort of funny. It's like you sound like Norm Macdonald. You're
Nice.
copying Norm Macdonald, and I'm like, well, not copying him well enough, apparently.
I mean, you're still alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I don't want to copy
You don't
him.
have cancer.
No, but I love
This
those-
guy
so
was
many
in a
guys.
wheelchair just a few months ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I've had
wow.
a lot of health
Dude,
issues.
What was that? What put you in the wheelchair?
Oh, I had a infection in my foot, and then
So,
I had to
re-
one of my toes surgically taken off. And
Oh
then,
no.
And then it didn't go right, and they had to operate again. And
Oh god, that
Jeez.
sucks.
And now he's
Yeah.
walking around at the Whiskey Mile.
I've been through hell with that kind of stuff.
Here
Yeah.
to watch Corey
Yeah.
Bennett do a feature set.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, I just like
That's our
comedy,
bartender,
so-
Charlie. thinking she's gonna leave early, but I'm like, you need to stay and watch Corey because you're gonna love him. Yeah, I don't know, man. Halloween. What's coming up for Halloween? Got any plans?
No.
A week from now.
I always want to do stuff on Halloween, but then I never end up doing anything.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going to happen. My friend's having a party this weekend, so I might go hang out with her for a little bit. But that's all I got.
Well, next year, if I get some more clout in the comedy scene, I want to do like a, you know how they do like the snatch game and stuff like that?
Yes.
Like it would be fun to do something like
That
at
would be
Tacoma
fun.
Comedy Club where
Yeah.
we could all play different
Comedian
characters.
Andy Harder, my friend. Didn't we mention him earlier?
Yeah, Andy, yeah.
He's having a Halloween party.
He is.
And I feel
Nice.
like, because I'm just such an
Andy
open
lives in
person, I'm
Renton.
like, anyone can go to it, but
I'm gonna
it's
put
not
his-
really my
his
party.
Andy's
but,
address on the screen
Yeah.
in front
Yeah.
of us. Be there at Halloween.
Yeah, you know Little Jeezy Weezy?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a friend of mine, and I was like, hey, can I bring a Little Jeezy? He wants a ride to your party. And then, unless you don't like him or something.
Yeah.
And then he was like, no, I don't really like him, but he's welcome to come.
Well,
Yeah.
hey,
Nice.
that's nice. I mean, comedians are welcoming to other comedians
Yeah.
no matter what.
Anyway,
we're
it's
all in the
a
same
costume
battle.
party.
Yes.
We're all trying to
Costume
make
party,
people laugh.
roast, and all that. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's I would talk longer, but I am gonna go to the bathroom.
No problem.
Oh, all right. It was good. Thank you
uh,
for having me on. Appreciate
yeah.
it. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then
You too.
I'll see you later. No.
Okay. Oh.
You're coming on the mic, right? Make sure
Yeah,
you sign up.
I'll sign up. All right. I'll let you
so
guys finish up.
People want to follow you. They want to go to your shows. What's the best way to do that?
Follow me on social media at Corey B Comedy. That's Corey. Not Cory, because that's a stupid way to spell Corey.
Yes, it is.
Uh,
Or with a K. That
Yeah.
would be terrible. And there's another guy named Corey B. Not the same. But there's a Corey
Yep.
B. that's coming to I think.
He was at Capitol Hill a couple weeks ago.
Exactly.
And I was like, hey, Comedy Bar, book me. Have 2 Corey B's on the same show.
Yeah, yeah.
And they did not, which is
Yeah.
fine. But
What?
I was like, come on.
Wow.
But yeah, and then CoreyBComedy.com. I also list my shows there. So just find me online.
Yeah, and you're doing all sorts of stuff. You got shows all the time.
Yeah.
Working on new material.
Trying to.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to develop some merch.
Yeah.
Design you some T-shirts. Some
Perfect.
stickers. We'll get you an online store. You can support Corey.
Yeah.
And we're going to make it happen. So that's it, man.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. And I'm looking forward to the set tonight.
Hell yeah.
All right. Thank you.
He's a force to be reckoned. Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. Stephen Michael James, the host you won't wanna miss. From Seattle to the world, his humor will persist. Join the fun, get ready to enlist. Spitting fire.